All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone for teaching this word of truth and in sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, this is the brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii coming to you with another lesson. And this is from an article that was sent to me. And the water to that brother, you know who he is, for sending me this article. And the whole WEF, World Economic Fund Forum, just had a meeting a week or two ago, in Davos, Switzerland. And while they were there, they were talking about 15-minute cities. This is all playing in the infrastructure of Esau's so-called NWO, okay, where you're going to be in complete slavery. Okay, you're not going to be able to move around. You're not going to be able to communicate in the ways that you used to. Traveling abroad is going to be a thing of the past. Traveling from state to state is going to be a thing of the past, man. Everything that you're going to have is going to be given to you in these 15-minute cities. And one of the key components of this is that RFID microchip. Okay, you're not gonna be able to pass a certain boundary. Matter of fact, Salaki, let me get a precept real quick. Khan, this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, verse 17, and this is also going to happen when all hell breaks loose. Jacob's trouble happens, because these super elite intent is to take this old way down. This old infrastructure, the old way of doing things down. All right. So when all hell breaks loose, that's going to be another excuse and reason why things are going to be implemented the way they are, as well as, according to the WEF, your carbon footprint is a problem here on this earth. According to Esau, your carbon footprint is a problem. So it says right here, 2nd Esdras 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? Because with these 15-minute cities, your limit is only going to be 15 minutes away, all right? So anything past 15 minutes, you could be what? You could be fined, you could be restricted, all right? And that's coming out of your UBI, your Universal Basic Income. It's going to be the max amount of money you're allowed to make. And how is that going to be distributed? Through that RFID microchip. It all goes back to the MOTB. So it says, this is from the Defender. It says, the 15-minute city, a climate solution, or just an excuse for more control. Because that's what this is all about. What Alex Jones told, or Alex Skull and Bones told Aaron Russo, it's all about control, total control. And that's what Aaron Russo was telling Skull and Bones Jones. They want to control you. And then Skull and Bones replied, total control, man. So it says the 15-minute city, a climate solution or just an excuse for more control. Proponents of the 15-minute city say it will reduce emissions and improve residents' quality of life, which, if you live in any city in America, there's no, especially if you're a so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, there's no better or improved quality of life, man. You see what happens in these dense populated areas where Jake stay at. You have the Arabs, Ishmael over there in the Arab land. They want to come up with something called the Line, which is a 15-minute city. The Line is actually, matter of fact, yeah, them Arabs got something called the Line. It says the 170-kilometer city is part of Saudi's Vision 2030 project, which everybody know it used to be called the 2021 agenda. Now it's called the 2030 agenda. This is what the WEF is speaking about down in Davos, Switzerland. They basically want to make these, we call them strong cities, 15-minute cities, but everything that an individual needs in his or her life is going to be contained within this city. So you ain't going to have no reason to go out, according to the WEF. Why? So this can control your so-called carbon footprint and emissions. It says 170 kilometer long or 110 mile city is a part of Saudi's Vision 2030 project, which Saudi Arabia claims will create around 460,000 jobs and add an estimated $48 billion to the country's GDP. The line is planned to be the first development of a $500 billion project, man. Okay, and then again, everything supposed to be within this, for individual, 15 minutes for individual in these different cities. Okay, and this is just supposed to be a depiction of it. All right. So back to this. It says proponents of the 15-minute city say it will reduce emissions and improve residents' quality of life, but critics say the concept supported by the World Economic Forum is discriminatory and will lead to climate lockdowns. Right, because what happened during the time of the whole 19 thing? You had to lock countries down. Well, they're going to lock cities down. All right? You're not going to be able to move. You're going to be restricted to whatever city you're in, man. If they want to lock it down, they'll lock it down, and it's easier to control because you know where everybody's at. Everything and everyone is centralized, man. Okay? So it says the 15-minute city made headlines this month, spurred by controversy over plans by the UK Oxfordshire County Council to pilot traffic filters to reduce car use as part of the city's Oxford 2040 development strategy, right? Because they want to get people out of vehicles. Everything's going to micropayments. You're not going to own, Carl Schwab said it. You will have nothing and be happy. You will own nothing and be happy. Because there's not going to be no more personal ownership of vehicles. That's why another reason why they're pushing for this electric vehicle thing. Everything's going to be a micropayment. So if you want to use a vehicle, that's going to take up some of your carbon emission. You can only go a certain many miles away. 15 minutes away, that's it. And then you got to get out that vehicle and then they'll get transferred to somebody else. But you will not own a personal vehicle. Okay? It says, under the filter plan, Oxfordshire will be divided into 6 districts. Beginning in 2024, residents will be able to drive within their neighborhoods, but license plate recognition cameras will fine private cars €70 for passing a filter without a permit. Vehicles such as a bike and public transportation will be exempt, right? Because they're even implementing that now, where in all these different cities across the world, not just in America or Europe, you have those bike share things. And that's the same thing you're going to be doing in vehicles. You're going to be sharing vehicles. You just go on your app, you just, click it, and you can borrow it for a certain amount of time, and then you got to get off. And that's why in bikes, you ain't going to be able to travel too far on a bike or a scooter, or public transportation, for that matter. Because public transportation only going to go a certain point. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to because of them permits and restrictions. Residents can apply for a permit to drive through a filter up 100 days per year. So yeah, that's crazy. Here it is now. You can drive as much as you want. This whole way of life is going to be totally dissolved, man. Just going to be driving 200 and 300 miles for whenever you want to. That's going to be a thing of the past, man. A whole thing of the past. They're going to give you a permit to drive 100 days per year, man. That's crazy. And residents living outside the zones can apply for a permit for up to 25 times per year. See? They don't want you going out nowhere. You're going to be resigned to your area. And again, the base is going to be that. New buying and selling is going to be the MOTB. It's all going to play a role in it. You see how the system is being built right in front of you. All right? The filters will be in effect from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay? The county council said the plan is not meant to coerce residents into staying in their neighborhoods, but rather to address traffic congestion. Yeah, right. by making walking, cycling, public shared transport the natural first choice. Yeah, because you can't go too far on those items, those means of transportation. You're not going to be riding a bike for an hour. The average person does not ride a bike for an hour on a highway or a road. The average person is not walking 2 and 3 hours to get to a point, that's far, The average person is not going to be making cycling and public, making walking, cycling, public, and shared transport the natural. And you're not going to be driving on a bus for 2 and 3 hours. Ain't going to be no more Greyhound trips. You see the restriction that's happening? Critics of the plan garnered thousands of signatures and petitions opposing it. The plan also sparked several protests, with local workers speaking out on the press. For concerned workers who pass through several districts daily to get to work, the council suggested that they use less central route, such as the ring roads outside of the city center. Community critics pointed out that this solution would add time and pollution, contrary to the plans and the goals to tackle climate change. Conflict over the plan, when international polarizing figures like best-selling author Jordan B. Peterson tweeted that the plan was the worst imaginable perversion of the idea that cities should be walkable and whatnot. It says major media organizations, including The Guardian, Reuters, PolitiFact, USA Today, Times, and BBC, weighed in to support the local and discredit dissent. Why? Because they're all bought and paid for by the super elite. But the 15-minute city concept has sparked widespread public concern beyond Oxford, particularly among growing number of people concerning the policy control. The WEF members discussed many such policies at January's meeting in Davos, man. Klaus Schwab barely finished his opening remarks at WEF 23, and Swiss MP, Minister of Parliament from Greens Party, is already promoting a 15-minute city-style concept where people no longer need cars, also encourage punishing businesses that don't adhere to climate agreement, man. And this is all part of the NWO agenda, okay? This is all a part of the control. That's why the scripture says this. This is the book of 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It might be 1 Corinthians 2 and 11, but let me see. Let me go to 1 Corinthians first. 1 Corinthians 2 and 11. Okay, 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of your devices. This is a part of your devices. You're going to have your financial, you're already setting up your financial infrastructure. Then you're going to create the physical and living infrastructure. This is going to be the new slavery. This is going to be the new slave quarters. This is going to be your slave areas. It's the slave plantation. You work 15 minutes from where you live. You operate and you do everything 15 minutes within your parameters, your sectors of your cities, man. And that's it. Okay? So we're not ignorant of his devices. We see it happening. And this is going to be your new slavery in the NWO. And so with that, I'll say shalom and on to the next.